The loudest watch in the room is rarely the one billionaires respect, because real wealth does not always arrive with a billboard on the wrist. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in a thin case, a restrained dial, and a movement finished so carefully that only another expert would understand what they are seeing. For decades, luxury was often sold as visibility: bigger, brighter, more diamonds, more branding. The idea was simple: if people can see it from across the table, they will know you've made it. But among the truly wealthy, especially in the world of serious collectors, that logic often breaks down. The most respected watches are not always the most obvious ones. They are the ones that signal taste, discipline, and confidence without begging for attention. That is the secret. In the world of quiet wealth, the flex is restraint, and a watch can say more by speaking less. To understand why certain timepieces earn that respect, you have to start with a contrast. Rolex, one of the most famous names in the world, produced an estimated 1.24 million watches in 2023. That is a staggering number. It makes Rolex accessible enough to be recognized everywhere, from airport lounges to boardrooms. But for billionaire collectors, recognition is not the same as reverence. Patek Philippe is often estimated at around 60 to 70,000 watches a year. Audemars Piguet, around 50,000. And then you reach the independents, where scarcity becomes almost philosophical. F.P. Journe is widely described as producing under 900 watches annually. That changes everything. When production is measured in thousands, not millions, the object stops feeling mass-made. It feels chosen, almost personal, and patience is expensive. This is where craftsmanship becomes the first language of respect. A flashy watch spends its budget on attention. It may use oversized cases, gem setting, bold logos, and visual noise. A quiet watch spends its budget on invisible labor, on tolerances, on movement architecture, on finishing that most people will never notice unless they look very closely. That is the beauty of high horology. The real masterpiece is often hidden inside. The loudest watches usually fade fastest. Their message depends on the room. A great watch does not. Traditional Geneva finishing standards, including the hallmark of Geneva, require a level of detail that does not shout: polished angles, smoothed surfaces, carefully finished screw heads. These details do not dominate a social media feed. They reward the loop, the inspection, the person who knows where to look. And then there is German watchmaking, where A. Lange & Söhne has built a reputation on handwork and precision. Their movements are famously assembled twice by hand. Even more striking, at least one component, such as the balance cock, is hand-engraved. That means no two watches are exactly the same in spirit. There is something deeply human about that. A billionaire may own many things that are identical to others: cars, jets, apartments, even art in some cases. But a hand-finished watch carries the trace of an individual maker. It contains a signature without a name on the dial. Heritage adds another layer. Vacheron Constantin traces its origin to 1755, making it the oldest watch manufacturer in continuous operation. That kind of history cannot be manufactured overnight. It cannot be borrowed, and it cannot be faked by a campaign. It reads like provenance because it is provenance. For wealthy collectors, heritage matters because it gives a watch moral weight. It tells them the object is not chasing relevance. It has already survived centuries of changing taste. That is why brands like Patek Philippe are so often treated as the final word in elite watch culture. In 2024, Patek reinforced its accuracy standards under the Patek Philippe seal and announced a 5-year international warranty for new watches sold starting May 1st. That may sound technical, but the message is simple: confidence. And confidence at this level is never frantic. It is calm enough to wait. A brand that believes in its work does not need to overstate it. Patek has also long said it will service, repair, or restore any timepiece it has ever made, regardless of age. Think about what that means. The watch is not treated as a disposable object. It is treated as something permanent, something that can move through generations. That is billionaire logic at its most refined, not consumption, continuity. And then there is scarcity, the force that separates respected luxury from ordinary luxury. A watch can be expensive because it is beautiful. It can be respected because it is rare. But when beauty and rarity meet heritage and craft, the result becomes something collectors chase for decades. Patek Philippe's rare handcrafts collection in 2024 totaled 82 pieces, each one showcasing techniques like miniature enamel, engraving, and micro-wood marquetry. These are not watches made to be seen by everyone. They are made to preserve skills that the modern world is quickly forgetting. That preservation matters to wealthy collectors because it turns ownership into stewardship. Sometimes the market makes that point in dramatic fashion. The Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime Ref 6300A-010 sold for 31 million Swiss francs at Only Watch in 2019. The Tiffany Blue Nautilus, the first Patek Philippe Nautilus Ref 5711-1-0118, sold for about $6.5 million in 2021. Even a Rolex Paul Newman Daytona reached about $17.8 million in 2017. Those numbers are not just about watches. They are about story, provenance, scarcity, and the way certain objects become cultural events. The message is unmistakable. In the highest circles, a watch is not valuable because it is loud. It is valuable because it can become historic. That is also why modern billionaire taste has shifted toward pieces that read as insider knowledge. In 2024, Mark Zuckerberg was widely noted wearing collector-coded independent watches, including names like F.P. Journe and De Bethune. The signal was not swagger, it was discernment. It suggested a man moving from status to understanding, and that transition is central to quiet luxury. Quiet luxury is not about hiding wealth. It is about broadcasting taste only to the people who can read the signal. If you know, you know. The average observer sees a simple watch. The serious collector sees a restrained dial, a perfectly proportioned case, a movement built with discipline and finishing that took hours no one will ever count. That is the real difference between flashy luxury and billionaire respected luxury. One is bought for a reaction. The other is built for a lifetime. Flash says, "Look at me." Quiet power says, "Look closer." And when you do look closer, the story becomes impossible to miss. A watch is not just telling time, it is telling you what the owner values. Precision over noise, craft over trend, longevity over novelty, confidence over performance. That is why these watches endure while louder symbols fade. A diamond-heavy watch may win attention tonight. A truly great watch can win respect for generations. In the end, billionaires do not only respect watches because they are expensive. They respect them because the best ones represent mastery. They compress history, engineering, and human patience into something that can disappear under a cuff. That is quiet power. Not because it hides, because it doesn't need to announce itself. And maybe that is the deepest luxury of all, owning something so well made, so rare, and so self-assured that it never has to ask for permission. Comment your quiet watch pick and subscribe for more.